I'm a moderate, is what I call myself. I'm a moderate. And I want to speak to that because we hear the word moderate and we think wishy-washy. You know, that's what we think, right? We think wishy-washy. Oh, those moderates, they can't make up their minds. A moderate is not someone without strong beliefs. Moderates have, many of us, myself included, have strong beliefs on issues of theology, have strong beliefs on issues of politics, and have very strong beliefs on various things. But what makes a moderate is the fact that we will not sacrifice relationships for those beliefs. I have strong beliefs about many things, strong beliefs about a whole bunch of stuff. But I love you more than I love my particularities of theology or politics. And I will not allow my particularities of theology or politics to divide me from you. Because if I am only surrounded by those who agree with me on everything, then what good is that? I'll never grow. I'll never learn. I'll never be made holy. I think the path of Jesus calls us to a path of discipleship, but a path of reconciliation with all people. There are not many places in our world, friends. There are not many places left in the United States of America and left in the church in America where individuals can have differences of theological or political opinions and still say, I love you more than that. And still say, I will stand by you even if we disagree. And by the way, you know who is the forefather of that movement? John Wesley. Wesley said, on the essentials, unity. On the non-essentials, diversity. But in all things, charity. I believe, friends, that our world is in need of this. I think we are tired. I think we are so tired of the polarization and the division that has infected our world. I think we're tired of the polarization and ideology that sometimes infects the church. Because, friends, the church can be about nothing more than Jesus Christ. The church cannot be about politics. The church cannot be about ideology. There's a million places outside this place that could talk about politics. There's a million places outside this church that could talk about what divides us. There are a million places where we can make our stand and say, here's what I'm going to do. But friends, the only thing I will stand on is the cross of Christ. And I will not allow temporal, earthly things that will cease to be the foundation of the church. The church's one foundation is Jesus Christ, her King. I challenge you to be that church. I challenge you to be that church built on Christ alone. My desire, my dream for St. Matthew's, I believe there are hundreds of, maybe thousands of people in the metro area looking for this. Looking for a place to put aside these divisions. As important as they may be, because remember, I'm not saying you can't have opinions. Let me be clear. I'm not saying you can't believe important things about doctrine or even politics. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying they cannot be the foundation of our life. It can only be Jesus Christ. I still have hope for what Bill called that great Methodist moderate middle. Because I think that is the path upon which Christ calls us to be. That is the path that our world needs. And that is the only way that's going to heal our nation, heal our world, and heal our hopes, is that if we say, yes, we can believe what we believe, and I'm not discouraging anyone from believing their opinions or their thoughts. I am not calling for uniformity. I'm calling for unity. There's a difference. No one should be cast aside for their politics or their doctrine. We need less of that, though. We need a whole lot more Jesus. And to go from preaching to meddling, we need each other because we make each other holy. Relationships are a means of grace. You know, I mentioned John 17 earlier. I talked about this last week in intersection. That's Jesus' high priestly prayer. And in Jesus' high priestly prayer, he's praying for the apostles of that day, but he's praying for us as well. And twice in that prayer, he prays for unity. Twice. He prays for the unity of the apostles, and he prays for the unity of the church that is to come. Twice in his last prayer, he prays for that. Why is it unity sometimes the first thing we throw out? It seemed to matter a lot to Jesus. It should matter to us. Because, see, our unity makes us stronger. Because those folk who are different than us, it's hard to love them sometimes. But that's the test of our faith, friends. Doris Daly, the Catholic social reformer, said once, she said, "You only love God as much as you love the person you love the least." James said, "How can you say you love God who is unseen, yet you hate your neighbor who is seen?" I've heard someone else put it like this: how will people believe a God they can't see loves them when a church they can see doesn't seem to like them? The test of our faith is not loving the folks who agree with us. That's easy. It's loving the folk who disagree with us. So if you're a woke liberal, the test of your faith is, can you love the MAGA Republican? And if you're a MAGA Republican, the test of your faith is, can you love a woke liberal? And if we build our house on the world, we can't. Not only can we not, we're told we shouldn't. Because they are the problem. Whoever they are. But friends, if we build our house on Jesus Christ, not only can we love them, we must love them. Because Jesus says there are two types of folk in the world: our friends and our enemies, and we're called to love both of them. I believe there are hundreds of people in the metro area who are dying for the freedom that comes from this type of thing. So my challenge to you as the church, my challenge to me as your pastor, is for us to live into this. My dream for St. Matthew's is for everyone of this type of belief system to find their self to our church. There's a lot of folk out there that need who we are. So my challenge for you is to go find them. Me too. And let's build this kingdom that God's building here for His glory. We're called to be the church.